Film techniques, constructing meaning in film. The amount of space that is seen in one shot or frame, camera shots, are used to demonstrate different aspects of a film's setting, characters, and themes. As a result, camera shots are very important in shaping the meaning of film.
City next week, the pride of Lowell is back! Kawaka! Who wants some? Who wants some? Now there was a time.
Would sharpen you up and make you ready for a bit of the old ultra-violence.
Offers to help.
Like Kathleen Jones.
Who?
A woman outside of Modesto. Might be a Zodiac victim.
Might be. I have her account right here in this file.
A Dutch angle is a type of camera shot where the camera is tilted off to one side. This is used to unbalance the frame.
Here we have an establishing shot.
The frame is balanced and everything is normal.
And in this shot the camera is on an angle. This unbalances the frame, ultimately unbalancing the viewers.
Movement is a simple pan or tilt. Panning a camera refers to rotating a camera on an axis or tripod horizontally, while tilting refers to moving a camera in the same way, only vertically. Both are used to follow the movement in a scene, but can also be used to reveal elements that were not originally in frame. This can help build a feeling of surprise or advance the story of a film. A great example of this can be found in the movie Braveheart, when William Wallace runs around the corner of his house. As he does so, the camera pans to the right to reveal an envoy of people who have come to announce the death of William's father. This helps the audience feel the same shock and surprise as William feels when he realizes what the envoy means. One of the best ways to make a narrative look more professional is to incorporate dolly and truck movements into a scene. A dolly movement is made by moving a camera either closer or further from the subject over time. The movie Tombstone uses a dolly shot in order to see expression on the face of a main character during an important piece of dialogue in the movie. Another move closely related to the dolly is the truck. This shot is performed by moving a camera from side to side. Movies such as The Dark Knight use this camera move to set the pace of a scene. The slow dolly movement in this scene is in stark contrast to the action that just happened in the movie. This allows the audience to know that the pace has become more relaxed in this scene. Another popular camera move is the boom. A boom is a device consisting of a camera that is attached to an arm that can pivot on a fixed point through space. This movement is useful for many of the same reasons as a tilt or pan like this clip from The Dark Knight shows. The boom allows for both low and high angle shots. A boom movement is useful for many other purposes too.
Mise en scene refers to all the objects and characters in a particular frame. More specifically, it refers to the composition of the frame. When you use the term mise en scene, you are discussing where the composer or director has placed all the elements of the scene within the frame, leading to a more stylized frame. Mise en scene is beautifully illustrated in the film The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Interviewed.
Should I go and light the candle first, sir?
What? No.
So there are two types of sound in film, diegetic and non-diegetic. The main difference here being what sound occurs inside the frame and what sound occurs outside the frame. Or to put it more simply, the sound the characters can hear and the sound the characters cannot hear. The most obvious form of diegetic sound is dialogue. Two characters talking to each other can obviously hear one another. You also have explosions and dogs barking and traffic and babies crying among many other glorious sounds. The role of diegetic sound is to firstly create realism in your film. If you had two characters walking down the street with no background noise at all, just nothing but the sound of their voices, then you'd start to wonder, is this a dream sequence I'm watching? And the second role of diegetic sound is to enhance the experience. Explosions are much more pretty if they go BOOM! And kisses are so much more romantic the smoochier they are. Non-diegetic sound, on the other hand, is not there for realism. None of us walk around life with a soundtrack. And if you do, then I want to shake your hands because you are awesome. The role of non-diegetic sound is to direct and enhance the viewing experience. Gandalf falling off the bridge of Khazad-dûm is tear-jerking in its own right. But if you then cut out the sounds of the Fellowship's reaction and put some sad music over the top, then I just can't. So that's our lesson for the day, kids. Diegetic and non-diegetic, inside the frame and outside the frame. See you in class tomorrow.
Interviews, good B-roll, and good nat sound breaks. Interviews are also called sound bites, SOTs, and talking heads. The interview subject should look just off camera. Why? It's part of the visual grammar. Just like most of us agree that a period signals the end of a sentence, there are rules that filmmakers and audiences agree on. For example, in a film, a dissolve usually means time has passed. Likewise, when a reporter looks at the camera, it's like saying, I'm the author of this story, the narrator. But when someone looks off camera, it's like quotation marks. This soundbite is a quote in my story. Of course, rules can be broken if you know the rule and why you're breaking it. Here are some tips for interview shots. Put the camera at the same height as the person's head. You don't want to be looking up or down at the person. Choose a decent background. I find that deep backgrounds with movement are a lot more interesting than a wall. Finally, a classic interview shot should have an appropriate amount of look room and headroom. There should be more space in the direction that the subject is looking, and if the shot is wide enough, there should be some space above the head, but not too much. The best guide to this framing is the rule of thirds. Divide your shot into 3 horizontal and vertical sections. Many cameras have these guidelines. And I usually place the eye that's closest to the camera on this intersection. This rule works well on medium shots and close-ups, always providing the right amount of spacing.
Lighting is really important in films, and it can really change the mood. Because you probably won't have a lot of lighting equipment available, you will have to use other things at your disposal, such as maybe opening the curtain to reveal a window and allowing more natural light if you're shooting inside, or maybe just shooting outside and allowing for the natural light to do its proper job.